That music brings me back. So today, giving a little respect for Zanac. I think a game that most people are at least familiar with by this point in time. Since there's many versions of it, and anyway, myself, when I was a kid and I had my old NES, I had the US cartridge version, Zanac, which I played to death. And then when I finally moved to Japan, I got my FDS, and I got the FDS version for like $1, which I then proceeded to play also to death. And then, I got the PlayStation version, Zanac Cross Zanac, or Zanac EX Zanac, however you want to say it, which has, the awesome Zanac Neo. And then, but of course, being an MSX fan, I wanted to get the original versions, which I have not been able to locate the original MSX1 Zanac yet. The game I've got on my radar to hunt down, hopefully one of these days. But a few days ago, I did manage to get Zanac EX, which is basically the MSX2 version. Kind of a weird series, because the original game was MSX1 Zanac. Then they made the FDS version. Then they made the Nintendo cartridge version, which was never released in Japan at that point in time. And then after the cartridge version, they decided to make Zanac for MSX2, which is what I'm running here. Now, as you can see, the title screen says Zanac EX, but the package just says Zanac. And that it's the MSX2 version. The back side just says Zanac. In the back of the box, there is a screenshot showing the Zanac EX label, but other than that, it's just Pony Canyon just sold it as Zanac for MSX2. So this came after the Famicom. You see, the Famicom cartridge version wasn't released in Japan. Japan only got the FDS version, which was then slightly tweaked and upgraded a little bit, and released in the US on the cartridge. And then EX is then basically an upgraded version of the Nintendo cartridge version. So it looks very similar, but there are a few differences. Like the status bar is definitely upgraded. It actually keeps track of how many power chips you've had. Though from what I can tell, when you hit 300, it resets back to 0. And of course, since it's on the MSX, which has more MSX2, which can display more colors than the NES, the colors are a little different. Also, of course, since the MSX, outputs an RGB, it's a lot clearer looking. But the Famicom version is still okay. Another weird change is that in this version, whenever you change your sub-weapon, your ship's sprite actually changes with it. It actually morphs into, there's 8 different forms for each of the 8 different sub-weapons. And as far as I know, this is the only version that does that. So, basically, since I got this, I've been playing this non-stop all over again. Zanac is a game that truly deserves respect. Now, if you look at it today, it looks pretty simple, but it's still one of the best designed shooters I've ever played. I mean, I love Alesta, but Zanac is still better, unfortunately. There's just so much stuff in this game. Just the way the game works, all this. There's so many secrets, from the secret warps to the way you get 1-ups, and then of course the 1-ups themselves, if you shoot at them long enough, will actually decrease the amount of time between you can fire, so you can actually increase your fire rate. And none of it's randomized or it's set spot. It's all based on score and how many times you're fired, and it is an incredibly complex game. It's a game we literally, I've been playing it for over 20 years, and it's still wonderful. And I'm glad to finally have this version. Hoping I can find the original MSX1 version sooner or later, because I'd love to finally play that. But yeah, but I do gotta say, EX is winning me over. I don't think I'll play my FDS version much anymore, now that I've got EX. Because it's just, I like the little tweaks they did to it, and the slightly better graphics. Towards the end, the game flickers like crazy, but still a wonderful game. Oh, so for all you Zanac fans out there, so the case is a surprisingly hard plastic one. But fortunately, Pony Canyon didn't do a whole lot for manual though. One of the dumbest looking manuals I've seen. Yeah, it's one of those games that has Zanac and Zanac. But yeah, it's the manual. My copy is missing the registration card, so if you're a real completist, you'd know you'd want that. But thankfully, my copy does have the Zanac pilot card, which is often missing. But every copy of the MSX2 version should have come with this. These are actually individually numbered. Pilot number 609839, hell yeah. But yeah. I do like the card, and it's not that hard to find a copy of this for sale, but the majority of them tend to be missing this. Which I'm not really sure how that happened, because, it wasn't like a pre-order thing or anything like that. It says right there that it includes a card. So, I'm mainly making this because the game just got me hooked on it, and I set my new personal best for this version anyway at 20.5 million basically. 20.5 million, however you want to say it. But yeah, and I managed to do a direct capture for S video for stage 12, which I'll upload when later on. But I'm not going to do a full video upload of this game because it's fairly long at 12 stages, and I got that 20 million by abusing one of the warps. Most of the warps send you forward, but there's one that actually sends you back to Area 2, which I did 3 times, although to be honest the third time was by accident, I didn't even mean to. So I ended up, as you'll see in the capture that I'll upload shortly after this, once it's done processing, yeah, I ended up finishing the game with like 115 lives. But anyway, Zanac is a game that a lot of people will find it hard to get into today, but it really is just incredible still. There's other than its own sequel, Zanac Neo, it really isn't much like this, I mean, Alesta is similar, but still not quite as much strategy. So, let's just start at the beginning. So if you're not really, familiar with the game, like here, if you don't shoot anything other than, the first sub-weapon carrier, and you have to use your sub-weapon, you can get that first lander, and then if you don't shoot anything, oops, I missed him. You can actually get a second one, which I'm going to try to do, because I'm paying attention. But if I fire my main gun just once or kill anything, I won't be able to get it because of the way the score works. This also means I can't ram anything because it'll... And that screws it up, actually, because I got points. So, let's try that again. Kill me. But anyway, yeah, because see, when you get the landers are 1-ups, but also if you shoot them, they'll reverse direction and come back at you, which then when you pick one up, it kill me. It actually increases the rate of your fire. the landers appear. I mean, there's a very nice FAQ out there that explains the formula, but it's based on your score and the level you're on, and the amount of times you've like fired your main gun. So when you start at the beginning, if you do not fire your main gun at all, you can get 1, and then and there's number 2. But, you know, there's just so much just strategy in this game. Like, you know, the item boxes, which you can, you know, get, you can usually correctly guess which ones has the power chips, but then you can ram it to get, you know, extra power chips, as opposed to just 1. This is a game that you can easily complete it and win it without really knowing what you're doing, but once you know what you're doing, you can just do so much better. And this game has just aged incredibly well, just because the design is so good. Also, if you're new to this game, you want a little hint, use Weapon 7. It's generally the best, in my opinion. Because it gives you that extra wide shot. But yeah, I mean, there's a level, you know, where you fight these squid things that you cannot hurt, and just about the only way to kill them, unless you have a very specific sub-weapon, is to, you know, every time you think of a power-up, you become invincible, and you can do that, and then ram them to death. This is just one of the best design games I've ever played. I think the NES version costs like nothing. See, like, here's the first warp. The smiling icons with a little eraser up here, and then, like, it turns black. Warp. Whee! This one only just takes you to area 2. But most of them take you forward, but there is the one that takes you back, which is what how I got my 20 million. But theoretically, you could just keep doing that forever. But man, the game gets tiring after a while. It starts to wear down in your eyes, especially towards the end of the game, because of the flicker. Like if you watch the direct capture of stage 12, that's coming, you know, shortly soon. Be interesting to see on YouTube, because I'm sure half the enemies are going to be invisible completely, because there's so much flicker at that point. But even still, though, the slowdown's not bad at all. Definitely a pretty impressive game for its time. But, and then yeah, comes the first mini boss. The game is it's one of those games that seems so simple, but you quickly realize that it's not simple at all, and that there's just... I've been playing Zanac in some form or another for 20 years, and it's still just wonderful. Definitely a game that's just one of my all-time top recommendations, no matter which version you can play. I really like the EX version here, but even the good old US NES cart that you can buy for like $5 probably online still worth playing. But anyway, yeah, that's enough for this one. Whenever my slow-ass computer finishes processing the video, I'll get the Stage 12 capture up. And see you next time.